All right, welcome back, Chris, to your news here at 10 o'clock. Decision 2024, can you believe it, Chris? The November election now is not that far away. So KWWL political analyst Dr. Chris Larimer of UNI. Seems to me like these local candidates, you were talking about this, they really need to separate themselves from the national conversation. Otherwise, it's just Republican, Democrat, trying to be by yourself. Tough to do right now. Yeah,
it's extremely tough to do. I mean, this primary was kind of their last chance to do that, to be able to, as you said, sort of separate themselves, make the case for themselves as individual candidates, rather than getting caught up in that national conversation. Because what we know about elections now going forward is that these elections become what political scientists call nationalized, in the sense that, as you said, they get caught up in the national conversation. This is going to be all about Biden versus Trump, and are these candidates either Biden Democrats or Trump Republicans? And that's going to be the conversation going forward into November.
Yeah, a couple of the key issues, I mean, even at the local level, the abortion issue, immigration, these are huge still. All the polls show that they're top of the list. Yeah.
Right, those are the top issues, as you said. Yeah, immigration, social issues, the economy, economic anxiety, to the extent voters have that anxiety going into the polls in November. But again, I think it's going to be really hard for many of these candidates who are not at the top of the ballot to make a case for themselves that they have particular issue positions and not getting caught up in that national conversation. Because as we've seen over the last several election cycles, when we have this increase in partisanship, when we have this hyper-partisan atmosphere, that's what happens. These local elections, these sub-national elections become nationalized.
And over the years, Blackhawk County has been pretty much seen as a Democratic stronghold. Dave Sayers will be going up against Eric Giddens. That should be a great race. I was told today that for the first time in many years, maybe the first time ever, there are more Republicans in the Senate District 38 than Democrats do.
Yeah, and some of that gets at the changes in how we measure party registration, whether it's active or inactive voters. That how they've measured that now has changed since 2021. But you're right; it's a very unique district. Senate District 38 is very unique in terms of Blackhawk, Benton, and Tama counties. You have a considerable number of Democrats, Republicans, and a large portion of voters who are registered as no parties. And so it has been one of those swing districts, and you would expect it to be competitive in November.
And turnout today was, I think I was number 36 in Hudson. They said it was really slow today. Turnout not great because there's not really a big, no Senate race, no anything like that.
Yeah, it looks like turnout's going to be down considerably from what it was in 2020. And as you said, we don't have a competitive U.S. Senate primary. The races in the 4 congressional districts were not seen as competitive as the races were in 2020, so it looks like turnout's going to be off quite a bit from 2020.
Yeah, because Sarah Corkery wins the Democratic nomination in the 2nd District, no competition there. Ashley Hinson, the incumbent, no competition in the primary election. That really diminishes the need to get out there and vote today. I wanted to vote today. Did you? I better not ask you that. Okay.
Yeah. But the primary elections are really important, again, because you're trying to get a sense of voter enthusiasm, right, going into the general election, and that's what we're looking for, as a clue to what we might see as far as the atmospherics, what to expect in November, and there just weren't as many competitive primaries, so it's hard to see what that's going to look like. And then on top of that, we have an unprecedented general election matchup with 2 candidates who are historically very unpopular. And we're dealing with a president and a former president, and now a former president who's been convicted on 34 counts. And so it's just an extraordinarily difficult election to predict in terms of which side's going to have the momentum and what voters are feeling in November or even September and October.
Yeah, Chris, looking forward to working with you on election night. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's a presidential year, so it makes it more exciting, and a lot of great local races too that we'll be covering as the months go on.